Hey, guys, it's our 199th episode. And as somebody who has edited this podcast for the past 2 years, this is a perfect movie to share with you what I play every time I have to edit you guys. 199. It's Clearcut. It's the good, the pod, and the ugly.
Brought to you by Tesla brand chainsaws.
That's it.
That's cinema, baby.
Sonny Corleone was a Long Island tough, big eggplant energy, but it wasn't enough. Quattro lived in a belly, but he got one in the brain. My feet exploded, Nessie driving RoboCop insane. Clyde had a gun for fighting, Bonnie wanted one for fun. They was only 24 and 25, and she got 26 shots when they died. And there were squibs when they died.
Hello, and welcome to Season 15 of The Good, the Pod, and the Ugly, a film podcast where we traditionally pair films from notable actors and directors. You think it would be easier after 15 seasons. But what's different about this season is that we're not covering a career of a person, a legendary effect. It's called the Squib.
Squib season.
This is your host, Thomas.
I'm Ken.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're joined this week again by
fellow Zoomer Jack.
Hi.
Hugh Jack.
Young Jack.
Who was actually the person who picked this week's film, Clearcut from 1991.
True.
Yeah. And so with our temporal pencil movement, we are pairing the most recent film with the earliest film, working back towards the greatest time of Squib effects, the mid-'80s. So right now we're in 91. Next week, check out To Live and Die in L.A.
Well, actually, next week is a special 200th episode, but in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
all right, well,
Clearcut, 1991. If you went to the theaters, you probably didn't see this film, but you could have watched People Under the Stairs, which we covered for a special wedding birthday episode.
Oh, okay.
Point Break?
Yeah.
Or
Hello.
Hook.
Boom.
Surprisingly, this was a gap year for Eastwood, so there were no Eastwood films in 91.
Wow.
But it would be
But he did have 2 children in 19... No, he didn't.
That would have explained the gap, at least.
Uh-huh.
Two children by 3 different women. But
all of whom are in Unforgiven, his next picture.
And then this might be fun for Jack. This was the year that Uwe Boll made his first movie, German Fried Movie.
Wow.
Classic.
Hey, what was it called?
Is it really called
German Fried Movie?
Wow.
It's supposed to be unwatchable.
Is it like the Kentucky Fried Movie, like a bunch of skits?
It must be, yeah.
But Germans don't have a sense of humor, so...
I mean, maybe that explains Uwe Boll in his entirety.
Yeah, I mean, I did see Postal, so I can attest that he does not have a sense of humor.
But this week we're covering Clearcut, a Canadian film. So Canada returns to the podcast after having a brief respite from Revenge, where instead of going to LA, she's being sent off to Canada.
Uh-huh.
And First Blood, where Canada was a stand-in for the Pacific Northwest. So, as we might soon be making it a 51st state, it might be good to know a little bit about Canada. So, I'll give you some Canadian facts throughout the episode, including Canada's been a country since 1867. It has 10 provinces and 3 territories. Provinces being sovereign, territories being international jurisdiction. And it's located to the north of the United States, affectionately known as America's Sombrero. Canada, as you might be surprised to learn, just by the way maps are flattened from the globe, is the second largest country in the world by area. The first, of course, being Texas. So, there'll be more of those coming. They might be presented to you by Molson Beer, now with 20% more moose piss. Well, in negotiation. So go ahead and strike that if we don't get the Molson sponsorship this week.
Okay, sounds good, eh? Also, Neil Young and Michael J. Fox are both Canadian, and together they still don't make up for the fact that Ryan Reynolds is also Canadian.
What about it? What if you throw in The Kids in the Hall?
Still not enough.
What if you throw in Bryan Adams, though?
Oh, well, you're going in the wrong direction.
Gladys Morissette?
That's more debit.
God herself?
No, because then you got to take Dave Foley from Full House, and then you have to think about You Ought to Know and how that's about Dave Foley and how she gave him a blowjob in the movie theater.
Wow! This podcast just got amazing. How'd you do that, Ryan?
I think we
Magic,
should
baby.
blow up the aviation gin factory.
Direct action. So let's go around like we normally do. Is this your first time watching this film, Ryan?
It is not my first time watching it. However, I knew about it. No, it actually is my first time watching it. My apologies.
Okay. You want to consult an attorney?
The coffee's still kicking in. It's my first time watching it, but I heard about it in 91 because my grandpa went to see it, and he was very into native rights issues, and he was completely disgusted by it. He thought it was a repugnant movie. He was actually mad at Graham Greene for starring in it. So that's what I knew about this movie going in, and it was repugnant. Grandpa hated it, and it made him lose faith in one of his favorite actors, Mr. Graham Greene.
That
And
would
your
all
last
be
name-
a pull quote on the poster.
Your grandpa is Zach Delaroshka?
No, my grandpa was Ned Mullen, Edward R. Mullen.
Okay. He wasn't the front man for Rage Against the Machine.
No, he
Okay,
did like
sorry.
he did like some rap though, but it was pre-Rage, you know.
I
Thomas?
forget that you're a little bit older than me.
Yeah,
Thomas, had you seen this before?
No, nor had I heard of it. Jack?
Yes, this is my second viewing.
wow.
The conditions of your first?
Huh?
What were the conditions of your first viewing of Clearcut?
Like weather conditions? I don't remember.
If you were outside, I
Did
think
you
the
lose a
weather
bet?
conditions are
What
relevant.
what had you watch it the first time?
I honestly have no idea. I can't remember how I came across this movie.
Huh.
I think it had a run on Shudder, according to Reddit. So it got a little bit of
That makes
interest
sense
there.
because of Severin Films re-release. But Ken, first time?
I thought I had seen it because I distinctly remember when it came out, and I distinctly remember it playing in Ashland where these movies would have played. But then watching it, I realized that no, I had not seen this before. I definitely would have remembered Graham Greene from the waist down, continually reminding me of Jerry Seinfeld.
What?
The jeans and the sneakers.
Yeah.
Crazy thing
Yeah.
to say.
Shirt tucked in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Well, you know that I always got uncomfortable whenever Ken, first meeting Ken, because I was like, I'm up here and pointing to my eyes. But I think he identifies people, despite being extremely tall, from the waist down.
Yeah. Well, and I just listened to the elephant episode, and he follows them around and identifies them from. That's how so he can keep his eyes low. You know.
Jesus.
So
Where's the chainsaw sound effect? Cue it up again. Every time you guys get long-winded, I'm just going to cue up a chainsaw sound.
So here's this was out re-released on Blu-ray by Severin, which I was able to get through the Multnomah County Libraries
Shut up.
and our library loan system. So it I think it was released physical media like in the late 20-teens, or early 2020s as part of a mini disc, like maybe 15 disc Blu-ray box set called All the Haunts BRs, a compendium of folk horror volume 1. I don't know if they ever made a volume 2,
Huh.
but it was one of many movies that they released in this box set. And so a lot of the commentary on the on the Blu-ray that I got was, at least one of it was adjacent to, I say adjacent too much on this podcast, was parallel with, was in the neighborhood of horror commentary. Apparently only 2 prints of this film exist, which is maybe why, if you were watching it, you saw some cigarette burns on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's also on the restored Blu-ray that Severin put together. So there's like 3 commentary tracks and 3 short films by Canadians First Peoples.
What do you mean cigarette burns? You mean the real changes?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just call it that because I watched a movie that might come up during this conversation, Fight Club.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
For people who might be curious about the movie, it's on Prime right now, and I think it must be that restored cut because it looked really good.
I watched it on Canopy,
Yes.
and it was not the restored version. If by my eyes, it looked like an earlier print. Did not look restored. Oh, that could just be shooting in Canada. I don't know.
I thought while watching it, like how even a very low budget Canadian movie could shoot on 35. It was just, I mean, obviously it was commonplace, but compared to now where it's a luxury and this is just like a tiny movie and they're like, yeah, it's on 35 millimeter, no sweat.
Yeah. So there are various ways for people to watch this, obviously.
But we're not at reaction, so we're not going to tell you whether you should watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anybody do some research on this one? Anyone have facts like about the director? I'm going to butcher it just a little bit. It's a little hard for me to say, but it's like Richard Bugacic. Nope, don't have it.
Polish.
Yep.
Polish guy. Just
Polish
picture a
B.
Polish name with a lot of, what are they called? Consonants in a row.
Bugajski.
Bugajski.
Almost close.
Yeah, I couldn't find that much information on this movie online. I know that they shot it in Canada. And
well,
the director
fortunately,
is Polish.
Yeah, fortunately for you, Jack, the Blu-ray has 3 commentary tracks on it, all of which play over the movie. So you get to watch the movie multiple times if you want to do research for this podcast.
And did you?
Yes. No reaction, but yeah, the director came to film through Poland at the time under the USSR and a very strict censorship bureau.
Really?
He ended up making a film, I believe, called The Interrogation, which got eventually released after the fall of the Soviet Union. I think it picked up in Cannes, but it was one of those Sasmadat tapes, VHS tapes that would be passed around and was very well received by the kind of film underground in Poland, as it was critical of totalitarianism and censorship and thought control. So he's, by making that film, he limited some of his prospects in communist Poland and was looking to get out. And, which he did. When he was looking to get out, he had just had a child. And I think the child might have had some health issues or might have just been a child. You know, I don't have any children, but they do seem to get sick a bunch.
Yeah.
And so one of the considerations you might have if you're leaving a country with free healthcare is, how am I going to take care of my child? So instead of coming to the U.S., which was a possible option, going to L.A. to make films, he went to Canada and would get hired on some crews to make television productions, including some Alfred Hitchcock Presents, when that came back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And would make this film, which would be his first English language film. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but he watched Fellini's 8.5 as a philosophy student in college and then dropped out of college to make movies and then applied multiple times to get into the Film Institute and finally, like on his 3rd try, got into Polish film school, which Polish film school sounds like it's a setup for a joke. But we're only going to be respectful to Polish people this episode and talk about Canada in ways that you might find offensive if you're Canadian. But
we don't need to offend them any more than the president
and
already
they
has.
already have.
Yeah. Yeah. Canada's great. We love you, Canada.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, I mean, Canada did support both the Union and the Confederacy during the American Civil War.
Is that right?
But it is true, yeah. But not because they supported the practice of slavery, but because the U.S. Secretary of State, William H. Seward, if you've watched the movie Lincoln, you know who he is. He was a believer in manifest destiny and wanted to invade and annex Canada. So they weren't hip to that. But they also, the Confederacy President Jefferson Davis was one hell of an amazing hockey player, eh?
Uh-huh.
Molson's beer, now with 20% more moose piss.
I think you got to mention it's fermented. I don't think they like it when you just say, you got to say fermented moose piss.
What the fuck?
I'm just saying if you want the sponsorship.
And this movie is based on a book.
It is, yeah. Which the director in the commentary will remind you of multiple times. That it wasn't his original idea. In the book, there was mercury poisoning instead of cutting of land, of trees, clear cutting.
Interesting.
Which is why I had an alternate title when it first came out.
So M.T. Kelly, the author of the book, was he not happy with this change?
Don't know. Didn't ask him or her.
Okay. Milton Terrence Kelly is his full name.
Oh, it wasn't Machine Gun Kelly?
No.
The rapper?
So the film stars Graham Greene, the probably one of the most prominent Native American actors of his generation, if not the most. And this was like one of his, because he was a character actor for a long time, and he appeared in a lot of movies and TV. And this was like the first one where it's like him on the poster. He's like the lead and the draw, even though his character isn't the main character. He's more the Tyler Durden in this movie. And the white lawyer is more the Edward Norton.
And this,
I would say.
And this movie would have come right after Dances with Wolves, where he has a big part. So this is probably the height of his celebrity.
Yes. And also Michael Howe, who plays the timber guy that they spoiler kidnap. It was bugging me. I looked him up, his filmography, and I couldn't find any movies. And then I went to his Wikipedia, and he was the Silas Howe, whatever his name was on Battlestar Galactica. He was like the colonel or one of the main guys.
Yeah.
Alcoholic.
Very, very recognizable, and it was driving me crazy.
Both times I confuse him for the guy from Fargo.
He does remind me of him too. That's what I thought it was at first.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was Pete, who owns the mill. I think that's his name. Who has
Jack
a fish in the
Nance.
percolator?
Jack
at
Nance
first I was
energy.
like,
Fish in the percolator.
he definitely has that, especially with the mustache. But
Wrapped in
after
plastic.
that. Well, my favorites, we've covered this before at Wild at Heart, when he talks about he has a dog. While you might mentally picture his dog, he hasn't told you what kind of dog he has.
Jack Nance is not in this movie.
No.
Sadly.
Not Canadian enough.
No.
So Graham Greene is one of the commentary tracks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he talks about the director wasn't used to getting permits, which kind of makes sense, going from like Poland, where you don't need to do that, to television, where you don't have to worry about it. So Graham Greene would say that the director was a little bit green. And apparently Greene, Mike, and Ron, the trio that we see the latter half of this film, helped rewrite the script, because according to Greene, the director didn't understand the situation and wanted to make it about like some type of active repression that was happening versus like a historical multi-generational change in who peoples are.
Interesting, because it kind of becomes a morality play in the second half of the movie.
Yeah. Among other things.
Among other things,
And they also had a different opinion on whether or not Arthur was real.
That makes sense.
Arthur being the character played by Graham Greene.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I agree.
I mean, early in the movie, I was like, the Fight Club reference. I was thinking that this guy's not real, and the lawyer guy is actually doing this from the sweat lodge.
Yeah.
And it's either still a vision or he somehow manifested this energy that Graham Greene represented.
Whose opinion was which on that, Thomas?
Okay, so the director believed that Arthur was a real person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fascinating.
And Greene believed he was a spirit of the lake.
Uh-huh.
Greene also says during this, I don't do politics. I'm an actor. I depict my people. Politicians do what they do, and we do what we do. We being actors.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That surprises me because there are many, many times throughout this movie, and sometimes very subtle ways in which the way it is shot and edited strongly implies that he isn't real compared to the performance. I would think it would be the other way around. So that's fascinating.
Yeah, I would have thought so as well.
Well, just so we can give a shout out to the lenser on this, because we like our directors of photography. Mm-hmm. This is the same person who shot Weekend at Bernie's for Ted Canadian Sneeze Kotcheff.
Bless you.
Thank you.
It's always back to Bernie.
And this is kind of a Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, they're dragging around.
You can see why they picked him as cinematographer years later.
Should we explain the plot? We've talked about some of the references, but
yes,
yeah. Go ahead and talk about that. I have to go get my notebook with my notes in it.
Sure,
where I left it. Keep talking.
So,
wait, do you need your notebook that has your notes for where you left your notebook?
He can't hear you.
Oh, great! This is the time where we get the chainsaw out. No, let's go over the plot. We'll be okay whenever the teacher's out of the classroom.
So
Who wants to take a stab at it? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll do it. A liberal lawyer who has recently lost a court case trying to stop timber farming on Native American land. That lawyer returns to the island where the farming is taking place to break the news. I guess he's not breaking the news to the Native Americans, but he's trying to placate them as they rebel against the local timber company in an uprising. When he gets there, he is ineffective, and the natives, the indigenous people rather, are upset with him for losing the case, it seems to him, and he doesn't understand that. Everybody seems to be mad at him. The timber people are mad at him. And the one indigenous man, the tribe's elder, who will sort of engage with him, invites him to a sweat lodge. During the sweat lodge, he manifests his true anger at the timber company and makes a tentative agreement with an indigenous man that he meets there at the sweat lodge to, it's not even an agreement. He thinks he's fantasizing about murdering the head of the timber company, but the indigenous man he's talking to, Arthur, takes him completely seriously and abducts the timber man, and then they set out into the wilderness to hopefully kill the head of this timber company. Hopefully in Arthur's eyes.
Ah.
All right.
Was that good? Was that a good one?
Yeah. I cut it off. Sorry.
No, it's cool.
I've got my notebook. Let's see what I have here. Strong Jack Nance vibes. Is this Fight Club? Oh, I guess I already covered all that.
Two recreations. two recreations of shots from Apocalypse Now. Worth noting.
Excuse me?
Yes.
When he gets to the uprising, the way the journalist follows him and then stops to interview one of the natives who's on the ground is what Francis Ford Coppola shot in Apocalypse Now. And then Graham Greene does the reverse Martin Sheen when he descends into the water at the end of the film instead of ascending, but it's the exact same framing and everything. That's why I was surprised that the director thought he was real, because that shot, and then he disappears into the water.
Well, I mean, the opening shot where it's literally looking up from the bottom of the lake as the plane goes overhead.
Oh.
I really love the I love movies where they're in those little tiny planes and they're in the far, far northwest.
Yeah, yeah.
Going somewhere. It's like that movie about the guy and the wolves. What was that called? Caleb Deschanel directed it. Anyway,
Into the Wild?
No. Anyway, yeah, and then the guy's looking at this ugly, ugly clear cut. If you don't know what a clear cut is, it's when they cut a mountain clear of trees. And the pilot says it looks like money to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of setting this in a world where...
Ooh, you're very close to having a reaction there. Fewer adjectives.
The timber wars seem to have ended, Ken. Like when I moved here, there was still a lot of activism around clear cutting, but it doesn't seem to be so much an issue that populates regional politics anymore.
That's because there's so much other fucking shit going on.
Could be. There was a lot of salmon activists when I got here too.
Salmon? Like
yes,
the fish?
salmon were a big fucking deal, Jack. I do not know why.
Well,
they're tasty.
Yeah, big tasty deal. There's one shot in this movie that set me up for a different movie than it became, and it's when the lawyer's going back, and there's like one of the royal mounties in a cruiser, and he's like at the left of the frame as the truck goes by up on the road, and the mountie is moving his side mirror and picking his teeth, and it's such a weird banality that I was expecting a far different movie than I got from that.
Huh. You were expecting like a Rambo or First Blood?
I think more satirical, I think.
Oh.
This is not a satirical movie at all.
No.
But it's still a great shot. And it made me laugh.
Yeah.
It's the only laugh really in the movie.
I mean, that opening, just go underwater, reminded me a little bit of Element of Crime, the Lars von Trier film we covered.
Yeah.
His first
Classic
film.
Uh-huh.
And then there's like a moment right after that, after the plane shot, where there's like an Evil Dead style going through the rocks in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Before you meet the kid who's smoking the cigarette, the little girl smoking a cigarette. And so, yeah, I think that the film it has a lot of promise in the first 10 minutes.
That sounds like a reaction, sir.
Oh boy!
Should we get to that?
No, I mean you're right. It sets up a very complex world in that first act, where you have like the media, the lady covering both sides, and then you have the loggers, and then you have the police, and then you have the natives and the lawyer. It's a great setup for maybe a different movie.
Yeah, the protest is interesting. It's not quite Eddington level protest, which is amazing. But there is a lot of chaos going on around, and some people are being arrested and fucked with, and some people aren't. Mm-hmm. You'll find out later, I think. One of the people isn't arrested because he's just too big.
6'5", can't fit in the cruiser. I'm going to use that.
So by minute 35, there's been a sweat lodge ceremony, right? And there's been a head bitten off of a snake by Arthur. Woo. And we're in a hotel, and the neighbors are noisy. Your lawyer, played by Ron Lea, is on his like PDA. Not public display of affection, but like a personal device. I don't even know what that stands for. It's like he has like some type of little device that maybe has his phone book in it.
Yeah. It's like a primitive BlackBerry.
Yeah, it's like one of those.
Well, there's no phone to it.
No,
it's even older. It's like a Palm Pilot before Palm Pilot.
Yeah, it's like a date book with all his phone numbers and alarms on it. Beep, 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 beep.
And the neighbors are loud. And so, and he wants something to happen. And so he manifests his Tyler Durgan in the form of Graham Greene's author. And they go next door and they duct tape people and seem to be assaulting them and say lines like, "So you think you're the superior fucking race?" Mm-hmm. And it seems like it's going to get real serious. And the Warhammer comes out, and it's used to turn off a television. Just done pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, that is a very tense scene, and the way Green duct tapes the people going around their mouths and then their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go in a far different direction, but they just kind of leave them there.
I'm surprised to hear everyone saying that they thought this was going in a different direction from points in the movie.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Cool. Yeah, let's jump into it. Let's go, because I'm going to offer the first reaction, then hand it right off to you, Jack. That's okay. My first reaction is, despite the title, you know what this story isn't? Clearcut.
Oh. But it is for 50 minutes. I'll wait for my reaction.
Jack, what do we watch? What did you subject us to?
Well, I think, like with many movies that I put on the list for this season, this doesn't have the most squibs, but it's the more interesting of the movies. So that's why I picked it. I think there's probably 2 or 3 squibs.
They're
total
great squibs.
This whole movie.
Oh my
Great
God, yeah.
fucking squibs.
Jesus.
Yes, when we get to it.
Man, we'll get to it right now. The cop and the head squib.
Oh,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
All-time squib.
Yeah.
Yeah. I shouted out loud when that happened.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things I remembered from watching it 3 years ago. But yeah, I thought this was utterly fascinating and completely frustrating the first time I watched it. And I thought, yeah, I can't even remember where I found this. Honestly, I think this was just one of those random letterboxd finds that I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then it was on YouTube for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it. But yeah, rewatching it for my second viewing, I think it's completely brilliant. And the things that I had issue with the first time, I think I was just a victim of expectations from where it's going. It doesn't end up where you want it to, I don't think, and it doesn't end up where you expect. But the second time around, I found that a lot more satisfying.
Well, to me, it felt like it was two pretty extremely, like it's a movie divided in half. And for me, the first half of the movie was boring and very rote. And then around minute 50, Arthur starts skinning that guy's leg, and whoa, mama. I hated that scene, and I did not want to look at that. But then everything after that, I loved, and it made me think that the first half, where things are very clear cut, that it was so intentional that it's like, to me it felt very ham-fisted, and in hindsight that seems totally intentional, or they took the movie away from the director entirely and made something much better. I don't know which, based on what Thomas said about the writing.
This might have been just a factor of how time works, but I started to fall asleep more during the later part of the film.
Wow.
But it was like 7:30, and I wasn't, like, I didn't think I was tired.
Right.
But you were.
No, this became riveting to me in the second half.
I think this film might help if you have insomnia, but that's just one take. And I did, but that was the first watch. That was without any commentary. I did end up seeing images of this film and hearing dialogue multiple times.
Yeah, I guess we're at reactions. I quite like it. I think the expectations threw me for a bit, but I really like the second half. And what the second half reminded me of was this might sound weird, but it reminded me of Rod Serling. It seemed like one of Rod Serling's little morality play teleplays, like the second half, where it's just the 3 guys in the woods. A less violent version of it, very similar to some of Serling's work.
It takes
non-supernatural.
Yeah, it takes those ideas to the extreme and then wonders what would happen, which I feel like is something that Serling's really great at.
And given the ending where Green disappears in the lake, I mean, the camera could still pan over and Rod Serling could be standing there smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, and then we would know that he was definitely fake.
There you go. See, sometimes we need Serling to make it clear cut of what we just watched.
Oh.
The French title for this is La Vengeance de Loup, which is the Vengeance of the Wolf.
Oh, fascinating.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. A lake wolf? Oh, a lake wolf. Is that a thing? That's a good title
the
for
wolf of the
a
lake.
fantasy book, though. Isn't that the
Yeah.
lake
I know
wolf?
Airwolf was a thing in the 80s.
Are you thinking of Air Bud?
It's coming back. Air Bud's coming back, guys, next year.
Is that for
Oh.
real?
Yeah.
Oh.
Same dog.
The king returns.
I had a question of whether or not Arthur sleeps in the water. And then I was wondering, like, maybe this episode paired with the other episode, it's a little bit like Freddy versus Jason, where one person's element's fire and the other evil person's element's water.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the water element of a being of, I don't know. Okay, so I guess this is the hard part for me, having watched this multiple times with increasing frustration. Let's say Arthur's real or he's fake. Let's say he's a spirit of vengeance, or he's just a spirit or a trickster god. What's accomplished at the end? Like, why did we watch this? Like, I don't quite like at the end of the film. I don't feel like if Arthur's a hallucination, then it's like a white savior projection of native values. So it's not, none of it's, it loses something with that. But if Arthur is real, why is he helping this white dude out, this lawyer? I don't know how anything changes. It's a movie about needing to take direct action. But aside from some cops that get shot, the person that you're going to try to injure or torture or kill, you don't torture enough, and he comes out alive. I just don't. I have a hard time trying to understand what I fell asleep for.
It seemed to me that, and I totally see where you're coming from, but I think the movie is all about the change of heart in the main white character who rolls into the movie wanting to be a white savior, believing that that's what he's trying to do. He's fighting the good fight, which is all a liberal can do in our society. And he meets what he discovers in the sweat lodge hosted by the elder of the tribe is that approach of using the system doesn't address the real problem and doesn't address his specific rage. And Arthur appears to manifest that rage and really test the lawyer and by extension the audience. Like, no, how far would you be really willing to go? Because we all know that clear cutting is wrong. How far would you be willing to go to stop it? And it would be easy if he just shot the old guy. So Arthur's like, no, we got to fucking torture this dude. Like, you need to see what it would take to do this, and the logger needs to feel what it's like to be the earth. And so that was
that's what the slow torture is. Yeah, because a clear cut is just a piece of land. It's not all of it.
Yeah.
So it's like those little mountains. They look like they just got a buzz cut. And really that's what he's doing to the logger guy. He's like, how does your whole body feel when the skin of one of your leg is peeled off? Well, not too good.
Yeah. And the trees are in essence cauterized when they're cut down because they can't regrow the way they're just sawed off like they are, leaving the stumps.
And regrowth technology is one of the reasons clear cuts are actually replaced by younger trees at this point. It's still not ideal, but that's one of the things that's changed in the last 25 years. And they do it further away from prying eyes.
Yeah, when you're flying over the Northwest, you can see the freeway, and there's like a half-mile stretch of trees, and then beyond that, it's just blank.
Yeah, and that's something they started doing in the late 80s.
Yeah.
Just making it pretty.
Like the movie Brazil with the billboards.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you look over it, and it's just desolate.
Yeah.
You were going to say something there, Jack.
Yeah, I think what Ryan said about testing the audience is really more of the point, if there is one, that I can gather. Because Thomas, I honestly, at the first time I watched it, especially, I had the same kind of frustration, because if the point of the movie within the world of the movie is teaching the white guy a lesson in his character development, I don't think that interpretation really works. But I feel like it is more about him as a vessel for the audience specifically, and the sort of passive nature of liberal activism and working within the system, and how that just doesn't work. There's nothing to it. And on a whole other level, I think there's a really interesting interpretation of this movie that the Arthur character, whether he's real or not, I don't think that necessarily matters, but I think the more interesting thing is that he is from a different movie. Like, he steps into this movie from a classic American Western where he's the bad guy, like Blue Duck from Lonesome Dove. And he even says it at one point. It's my favorite line, right after he shoots the second cop.
Yeah.
He goes, "You don't understand. It's the Indian guy who's supposed to be dead." And it's like, yeah, at this point in the movie, it is the Indian guy that's supposed to be dead.
Yeah. Because it's the white savior trope.
Yes.
And the second half really turns that on its head. Right when he says that, it's like you're in a different movie than the one that started out. Kind of when it clicked for me anyway. Before we go on, though, I did a double feature. I watched To Live and Die in L.A. and then this. Before I started watching Clearcut, the neighbors were playing their music loud all throughout To Live and Die in L.A. I could hear it through the walls with Wang Chung.
Good.
That's my great story.
Good. Great.
Wow. He cuts his finger off during the second Sweat Lodge scene. The parody. It's not. I mean, parody not being like an Weird Al Yankovic parody, but like it's not. It's inverted. It's not a traditional. Like it's purposefully a perversion of the Sweat Lodge.
Yeah, it's a nightmare reprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I started to think that he might not be there, because there's no real signs afterwards of the finger.
I thought, I mean, I would enjoy in a movie where the lawyer snapped. It is Tyler Durden. He's projecting himself as a Native American, as a First Peoples, and goes and does all these things. You get to the end, and then both, like, the tribe is a little upset with him for appropriating their cause as his own, and his own rationale behind it. We see, like, but we're left with an ambivalence of like, well, he did do direct action, maybe even jump in time, and his, I don't know, rookie lawyer partner has taken over as him and inherited all of his bad habits, like to live and die in LA.
Yeah.
That's
It really tied them
great.
together there. Where's the chainsaw? Where's the chainsaw?
Every time one of you guys mentions the title, I think of the To Live and Die in LA.
This is Squib season, so let's do the rat-tat-tat and talk about the few but wonderful squibs in Clearcut. Like halfway through the movie, once the three of them are having their little three-handed melodrama, a couple hunters that they threaten tell the cops, and then the cops come, and then we get a couple squibs with the cops. One of them is a head squib.
Yeah, right through the hat.
Wow. It is amazing.
So good.
And really disgusting.
It reminded me, Ken, you mentioned you shouted out loud, and I did the same. And having just listened to the Elephant podcast, when I saw that movie in the theater, the first time a shot happens, everybody in the theater seemed to jump at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And I bet this movie had that same effect. I just immediately related the two because it's so shocking, and it's such a good squib. I don't really, how gross a squib is never really something that has mattered to me before looking for it for this series.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like one of the most effective ones I've ever seen, where it just really brings home the startling effect.
Yeah, it's got some brain in there too, some chunks of brain, which is always good in the squib. And afterwards, there's an overhead shot after the two cops are dead and they're all walking away, where the lawyer's standing there for a bit, and yeah, you see all the blood and brain chunks around him. It's pretty nasty.
Mm-hmm. So we're just going to go with that head squib as the best.
Oh,
of this movie. I don't think there's a bad one in this film, because there's just
the other
2 or 3 in that sequence.
And we get some smoke squibs whenever the hunters are shooting at that moose as well.
Yeah, there's some good smoke squibs.
Yeah. And that's why I picked this movie.
Ooh, smoke. Yeah.
Technically it fits the prompt for the season, the spirit of the prompt, perhaps.
Yes. There are more squibs in this than First Blood.
That is true.
That's true. Good point.
So, Thomas, how can we convince you that this movie is great without rewriting it to be a completely different movie, like Fight Club or To Live and Die in L.A.?
Yeah, I understand that there's not wanting this movie to be better than it is. With having, I mean, Graham Greene, I don't know if he's top billed. He is seemingly, that seems to be the case. And he is like the presence that holds his film together and makes it interesting. I think I do think that there is a lot of messiness that happens in the film of whether or not he's real that actually matters to the plot.
Yeah.
And is frustrating for like the commentators I listened to. Everybody was a little frustrated with not like wanting him to be a spirit, but he's not. Like Arthur like teleports from the press conference from the lake to the mill, which takes a car to get to, but he's just suddenly there. When he splashes water in the face in the boat, when he's asked like where he's from, and that way the movie opens and the way the movie closes, seems like he is some type of spirit who lives in the lake, but he's corporeal in a way that everything else suggests that he shouldn't be in the logic of the film itself. Like at one point, his rifle even transforms into his war club, which I didn't notice, but I think so like there's magical stuff happening on screen, but it's not taken to be.
It's magical realism.
Well,
yeah,
but,
he's just a Cormac McCarthy villain.
Yes.
It's the same thing as like Anton Chigurh in the No Country for Old Men movie.
Or the Judge.
Very similar. Or the Judge.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite shots in this movie is the lawyer following him with the rock when he's seemingly decided to kill him.
Yeah.
And then he stops walking and the camera keeps going past him a little bit, and then the camera stops. And the framing of that suggests that Arthur has just seemingly disappeared into thin air because he was only a few steps ahead of him.
Yeah.
But I don't find that frustrating as much as I find it enigmatic and mysterious in a way that makes me keep coming back to this movie.
But I think that there is a cultural register of Native Americans, First Peoples being enigmatic and mysterious that this like perpetuates in a way. And so if it was in his own white mind, then that's fine. But to have the movie also hedge, it's like to have it both ways, it makes it hard for me.
Well, what I saw it as, and this is a fascinating conversation because I just thought Arthur descending into the water was just a little like kind of bell on the movie, like, oh, maybe he wasn't there at all. Dun dun dun. But
that's what Rod Serling would say.
But there is, because the elder keeps showing up wherever they are. He seems to know where they are, and he's coming up and talking to the lawyer, almost as if it is a curse that has been placed on him by the elder via the sweat lodge, where he wants the lawyer to manifest his rage. I don't know if that's the exact wording he says, but it's something very close to that. I want you to make your rage real. It's not that. I don't know what he says.
Here's the other part to me, why I was disappointed in the film. And I was thinking about this, and I was like, well, Tar is a movie about issues, but it's a character-based movie. And this movie really wants to, in a way, be about Arthur, but he's not a real person, potentially. And the lawyer we don't know enough about, aside from as a very, like I think you're very right, Jack. Like, I think he's a audience surrogate or stand-in, but I'd rather have perspective and character and depth there, as opposed to almost not having a lot, so that I'm there in his place. I don't ever feel very much like he's making decisions or choices
right
that I have to question. Instead, I don't feel implicated in the way that I think I would want to feel as him being an audience surrogate.
Well, it is, and I don't know that this movie is effective politically, because I don't know that anyone who saw it would be swayed in their opinion by the movie, but I think I can totally see what you're saying, and I think it's a very valid critique, and I think that's what the liberal, squishy liberal is supposed to be, is a cardboard cutout of a person, someone who has political beliefs but doesn't have any conviction behind them. That being said, I thought the first half was very difficult to get through, precisely because of what you're saying, and it was only the second half that left me slack-jawed that made me reconsider the movie. So I totally see where you're coming from. I think it's a very true reading. I think that's definitely a valid reading of the film, is that it's just kind of boring.
I think that's what frustrated me the first time I watched it. Is I was like, this guy should totally be on board with it, and I wanted it to be like almost not like a Bonnie and Clyde story, because that's not exactly right, but like one of like the Ripley books where he slowly corrupts someone to his way of life over the course of the book into committing crimes. Because I watched this and I was like, if I was the lawyer, I'd be totally on board with this. Let's get some dynamite. But then watching it years later, I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's what any of us would do in that position. We all say this shit about revolution. Everyone does, but then we all just go to work for 8-9 hours a day. Like, no one actually wants to commit to it. And I think that it's very frustrating and also just so true. Yeah. It's just true enough that watching it, I'm like, it feels real to me in a way that is very relevant for a movie from 1991. I don't know. I hear this shit all the time about revolution and, we should be doing this and we need more Luigi Mangiones and whatever, but no one actually wants to do anything. We all want our paper products. We all want the mill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think clear cutting is disgusting, but I use toilet paper,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's like the Michael Hogan character, Bud Rickets, the mill owner. There's not, what he says is, AI could have written this, right? Like, there's like what he says is, it makes perfect sense for that character. There's no edges or nuance, and he's not like, I think we sympathize with him at some point. And that's fine, but it's not ambiguous, or we don't have ambivalence around siding with him. It's simply, that like he doesn't seem to be an evil business person, but he's also like, there's just not.
Yeah,
it's realistic. Like, it's almost like in a way that deprives it of a story.
Yeah. I can totally, I think that's all true. And it's just like, because the idea is what they're trying to get across, was, to my mind. So it's all meant to be very, generic everything until the middle.
That said, between going and watching this or Hook in the theaters, I would watch this. In 1991.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about with the depth and what I feel like this is a very lived in world with very lived in characters. I never found any issue with that, but That's just one man's perspective.
Up until you see that leg, every line of dialogue for me could have come out of any 80s issue movie. Just like James Woods is fighting to keep the guy off death row or whatever. Like, it's all... Nobody said, to Thomas's point, nobody says anything surprising about their positions. Nobody has a different perspective than you would expect given what you might know about the situation. And maybe part of that is because there's a presumption that people don't know what clear cutting is, and they don't know that the indigenous peoples don't like it. So maybe it's supposed to be kind of educational, but it's just like, you know, the reporter is a cad and the lawyer's trying to do a good job and the natives are angry and the businessman is just wealthy and laughing, smoking his cigar, and, you know.
Yeah. There's, I mean, I like that the helicopter pilot says, like, it smells like money, because that gives a perspective, right? Like, and what we're missing is maybe the 4th season of True Detective here, where it's like, yeah, we give up something. Good? Oh,
I like that.
Do you have a notebook to go find, Ken?
Yeah, True Detective season 4 is fucking ass.
It's one of the worst things that has ever been aired.
It's pretty all right.
I disagree.
Every season of True Detective is at minimum pretty all right. That's why they put the name on it. That's what you know.
That is also incorrect.
Wow. The first 2 seasons are just amazing, but
that is
all right. I'm sorry. It's like bringing up Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're going to be derailed.
Season 1 is also incredible.
Wait, is this on Spotify? It's called Power Tools.
Oh wait, this isn't royalty free. I'm editing that out. It's not on Spotify.
Wait,
royalty free.
It's like a chainsaw sound over the chainsaw sound. Is that an hour-long album called Power Tools with various sounds?
It's great, man. It's very relaxing.
Is it by Lou Reed?
Go to sleep with. Yeah.
The real Metal Machine music.
Okay, we've talked enough about this movie.
I quite enjoyed it, Jack. Thanks for bringing it to us. This is a divisive film and a great way to end our 100s.
I just want to say that if Graham Greene, if we didn't live in such a racist society, Graham Greene could have been Al Pacino. He could have been De Niro. He's an incredible actor with incredible range, and he only ever gets to play an indigenous person, and that's just sad.
Oh my God! Remember that Antlers? Is that what it's called? The Wendigo movie, where he literally shows up for one scene and he's like, "My people call it the Wendigo."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the roles that he does nowadays. Yeah. But that pays the bills.
He does have one of those soulful faces that the camera absolutely loves.
Yeah.
And he's never been better than in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great because he, like you guys have been saying, it turns your expectations of what his character is going to be, particularly that scene Jack mentioned where he's like, the Indian's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one last fact, I guess. The shortest one. In Ontarian Canadian English, the plural of moose is orgy.
An orgy of moose? It's incredible.
Wow.
That's not meese.
Molson's beer, now with 20% fermented moose piss.
Yeah, there you go.
An orgy of piss. Orgy piss. That's what we should name this episode.
Is he just reading his notes right now, Jack?
Having a stroke. So next week, we are having a very special 200th episode. And we are going to get very personal with films that have meant the most to us during our lifetimes. For me, it's like a lot, but for like Jack and Thomas, it's just a few years worth.
Whoa. Yeah, sure, but I don't think quantity matters when they talk about life, dude.
Okay, you're right.
Pitchfork does this series called 5, 10, 15, 20, where they ask people their biggest influences at those different ages. And I thought that would be a great idea, but for Ken and I, that's like 24 movies, and for you guys it's like 2.
Yeah,
so it just seemed very unfair.
It would be, I might be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Jesus Christ, I'm old.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
Yeah.
Right? The numbers just get bigger. It's incredible.
Yeah. Ryan, thank you for the theme song.
Thank you.
It's for editing.
Yeah, for all that you do for us, Ken.
Oh, well.
Yeah, thanks.
Make
Yeah.
you sound good.
Spreadsheets and
I
editing.
haven't figured out how to make myself sound good yet. And then in 2 weeks, the movie we're pairing this with, To Live and Die in L.A. Woo! Right.
You-
There it is.
Live and die in L.A.
All right.
There were squibs and they died. There were squibs and they died. Yeah, they made a big mess when they died. On a follow walker down South American way, it got squibby, sticky, messy when they got there that day. Peyton lost his love and so he made a face. Django met a dentist, but big holes in little brains. Montoya's chest exploded, somehow wasn't the cocaine. And there were squibs when they died. There were squibs when they died. And there were squibs when they died. There were squibs when they died. Yeah, they made a big mess, and then they died.
Two children by three different women.
Bugajiski.
They also, the Confederacy President Jefferson Davis was one hell of an amazing hockey player, eh?
Wrapped in plastic.
That's my great story.
Arthur descending into the water was just a little like kind of bell on the movie. Like, oh, maybe he wasn't there at all. Dun, dun, dun.
That's what Rod Serling would have said.
All say this shit about revolution. Everyone does, but then we all just go to work for 8-9 hours a day.